Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to a News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. Justice Anthony Carmona has officially been elected as President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The Education Minister talks about achieving universal education success here in Trinidad and Tobago. And Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival organizers may soon be playing a prominent role in Carnival celebrations on the African continent. In our top story, Justice Anthony Carmona has officially been elected as the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. He was elected as the Electoral College met in the Parliament on Friday afternoon.
Therefore, in accordance with Section 31 of the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Regulation 9(1)(b) of the Electoral College, the regulations of 1976, I hereby declare Mr. Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona elected President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
President-elect Justice Anthony Carmona is now officially on course to become this country's 5th president. The process of his election was short, as he was the lone nominee. The Electoral College met for approximately 25 minutes in the Parliament at Tower D of the International Waterfront Centre in Port of Spain. Addressing the Electoral College, Prime Minister the Honourable Kamla Persad-Bissessor says the President-elect is a man of the people, by the people and for the people.
We have just witnessed another significant and momentous event in the history and continuing development of our country. In keeping with the tenets of our Constitution and our commitment to maintain our sacred democracy, we have, with unanimous national commitment, elected our new president. The presidency of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is a commanding authority in our political and social landscape. He is a person of the people, by the people, and for the people. At the same time, he must be above all the people. When my government was elected approximately 1,000 days ago, we knew of the enormous challenge that would come before us this 15th day of February 2013. We were deeply conscious that we would have been required to nominate a candidate for the office of president during our term of office. We were very mindful of our responsibility to ensure that its esteemed office of president was maintained with the highest traditions, consistent with the formidable responsibilities of the office. We fully recognized that the president was a tangible symbol in both word and deed of our democracy. We shared the conviction that this office was the beacon of our collective endeavor to achieve our own unique place in this world and the meaningful embodiment of the hopes and aspirations of every single citizen of our beloved country.
Prime Minister Persad-Bissessor also told the Electoral College, "We have been blessed to have great presidents in the past."
Mr. Chairman, we have been blessed to have been well served in the past by leaders of distinction. From our first Governor General, the eminent Sir Solomon Hochoy, followed by their Excellencies Sir Ellis Clark, Mr. Noor Hassan Ali, and Mr. Robinson, and over the last 10 years, His Excellency Professor George Maxwell Richards. They have all left their indelible mark on our nation. In this context, on this occasion, I again pay tribute to our outgoing President, His Excellency Professor Maxwell Richards, who served us faithfully with honor and with dignity. May I also say, Mr. Chairman, that it was reassuring to me and my government that we had no shortage of fine men and women who were available for consideration as the next president.
Also addressing the Electoral College, House Speaker Wade Mark paid tribute to the outgoing president, Professor George Maxwell Richards. The swearing-in ceremony of this country's 5th president will take place on March 18th. Achieving universal education success here in Trinidad and Tobago means first establishing universal education standards in all schools. This according to the Education Minister, Dr. the Honorable Tim Gopi Singh, who says goals outlined by the ministry seek to maintain this nation's footing on the international list of academic top performers.
Putting our students on the global map for academic excellence is where Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh wants to see the local schooling system reach, and plans for 2013 points it in that direction. Already Trinidad and Tobago ranks in the top 80 in the world, but maintaining this requires ensuring the right resources for our teachers and students are provided. Minister Gopi Singh says introducing information technology at schools will take a new level this year.
I'm looking at the question of having interactive whiteboards in all our secondary schools. It's going to be costly, but first of all, the training of the teachers and the system has to be set up. We have to improve the internet connectivity and bring in Wi-Fi to all schools. A tender is going out pretty shortly for that, for early implementation. So we can stay from one center, let's say the Rotronad Capillary Learning Resource Center, and have a program in education where we can disseminate to all the primary school students at a particular time. We are providing them with television, and there will be a dedicated type of educational content channel that will be for all our primary schools in the first instance.
While teachers will be equipped and trained in ICT, it's expected to add to the introduction of career guidance forums, which will be provided to students in secondary schools selecting subjects.
It's the first time in the history of education in Trinidad and Tobago that so many thousands of students are being exposed to career guidance. It's a joint program between the Ministry of Tertiary Education and the Ministry of Education, where we're hosting 8 career fairs each district over a 2-day period, and allowing Form 3 students, Form 5 and Form 6, to engage in their understanding of where their careers can be in the future, and helping the Form 3 students to choose the subjects that may be similar to what it is they require.
These go in tandem with providing a meaningful and useful society that will support development of creative industries. Minister Gopi Singh says all of these areas have been outlined as 16 priorities to be achieved at the education system.
I think we have been more than 50% in implementation of all our priorities that we have set, namely the laptop issue, the universal early childhood education, the special needs student issue, improved academic performance, improvement in literacy and numeracy, teacher training and development, school-based management, human resource management information systems, the TechVoc education, career guidance, parenting issue, and so on. It's a re-engineering, a reprocessing of the education system. And a new evolution in education is taking place. It's not a revolution, it's an evolution in education. Something meaningful is happening.
Kimberly Ram-Kalawan, News 4.
After the break, we tell you what's coming out of the cabinet. Stay with us. Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago's mass makers and carnival organizers may soon be playing a prominent role in carnival celebrations on the African continent. So says the Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism, Dr. the Honorable Lincoln Douglas.
Speaking at Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, Dr. Douglas reveals talks have begun between event organizers in Kenya and Nigeria to have local mass makers assist in organizing carnival in those countries. He says this comes after the government welcomed a contingent of Nigerian officials to our carnival celebrations this year. He reveals this is also a result of the international forum held in this country on carnival and carnival celebrations around the world.
Carnival is being developed, and we are having requests from Uganda, Kenya, Hollywood, and various other places for the participation of our carnival makers in helping them do what they want to do. In this year, they're celebrating 100 years in Nigeria, 50 years in Kenya, and they're asking for us to come and help them design the way they do their business.
Minister Douglas says based on this and also looking at the statistics, this carnival seems to be the most successful ever.
We saw an increased participation in all the various aspects of Carnival. That is mass, calypso, steel band, regional Carnival, even participation in the private events like Soca Monarch, etc. Secondly, the increase in prize monies for the kings and queens, and we thought encouraged an increase in the quantity of participants and also in the quality of participation. This year also we had contributions from the state from the NCC to over 53 regional bodies amounting to over $10 million, and therefore we saw a massive increase in the participation. Arima, San Fernando, Aruca, various places in Port of Spain, and they all reported quite an increase in terms of the participation, the quality and the quantity of bands participating in mass, calypso and steel band.
He attributes this success to government's collaboration with stakeholders.
Major success in terms of the collaboration between the Ministry of Arts and Multiculturalism, the National Carnival Commission, and the various stakeholders, that is TUCO, NCBA, and Pantrinbago, and all of the other stakeholders. Very early in the game, we spent a lot of time meeting with all of these stakeholders and developed quite a good working relationship. And for us, that in itself is a tremendous success to reduce that level of anxiety between the stakeholders, the ministry, and the National Carnival Commission.
Dr. Douglas, while admitting that Carnival 2013 faced some challenges, says he has already begun to address those issues. He explains his focus now lies with looking at Carnival 2014 in an effort to ensure it is an even greater success.
We continue to work immediately. We've already met with some of the stakeholders and doing some of the evaluation of Carnival and how we will be developing the future of Carnival. We've had some challenges in the area of broadcasting and some areas of some of the changes that we've made. As you know, this year we disaggregated the March Grass show and tried a few different things, and we've had some challenges with that. Those we will continue to look at, to evaluate, and to work for a better development of the Carnival product, both as an entertainment and a social value for our people, and the opportunity for the participants and the people who make Carnival to contribute to their income and the diversification of our economy.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Minister of National Security Jack Warner at a post-cabinet news conference claims that for Carnival the entire country had experienced a mere 42 serious crimes, a drop from figures of 64 offences in 2011 and 74 from last year. The category included robbery, larceny, wounding, disorderly behaviour, resisting arrest, fighting, assault occasioning a wound, malicious damage, rape, and possession of an offensive weapon.
So therefore, again, you had one Carnival-related murder 2013, one in 2012, and one in 2011. But in 2013, in all, you had 5 murders.
Minister Warner says it is hard to specify any ratio of unreported to reported offences.
One of the reasons why the police were so reluctant yesterday was because of the kind of cynicism which they expected that they would receive from these figures. 2011, nobody questioned 64. 2012, nobody questioned 74. 2013, people questioned 42. They had also 33 persons who were arrested for driving under the influence after the breathalyzer test had been carried out. And that is for Monday and Tuesday combined.
The Minister of National Security adds that he can only give an account of what offences have been reported, and that's the truth of the matter, he says. Minister Warner gave figures on both the murders related to Carnival activities and the killings over the Carnival period. Asked if he was satisfied with the crime detection rate, this was his response.
One can never be satisfied. Anyone who aspires after excellence, as I do, can never be satisfied about anything, and especially the crime detection. And I believe it is still too low. Efforts are in place to increase that and to improve it drastically. That is why, for example, we are inviting the most successful crime fighter in the New York Police Department, Bill Bratton. We invite him to come here for a series of lectures. That is why we are sending 200 officers to do online courses with Cambridge University. And that is why we are doing a series of things so as to bring up the detection rate, including to increase the number of persons in the homicide unit and so on.
Regarding plans to protect soldiers to exercise police powers, he says that everything is now in the hands of the Office of the Attorney General. The Minister of National Security, the Honourable Jack Warner, says they now have to bring the regulations to Parliament, and he is advised that this will be done in the next 60 days. Next, we take you on a high seas in our Sportscast. Stay with us. Welcome back as sailing features in our Sportscast. National sailor Andrew Lewis earned a hard-fought bronze in the International Laser-Full Rig Division of the 2013 Lauderdale Yacht Club Olympic Classes Ocean Regatta in Florida. Here's Wayne Cunningham with more details.
The 2013 Lauderdale Yacht Club Olympic Classes Ocean Regatta took place in Florida, USA from the 8th to the 10th of February, and Trinidad and Tobago sailor Andrew Lewis tallied 31 points after contesting 8 grueling stages of laser-class sailing over the 3-day period. He finished behind eventual winner Carl Martin Ramo of Estonia and silver medalist Robert Davis of Canada. American sailors Matthias Lindfors and Eric Bowers finished 4th and 5th respectively out of 15 contestants. During the 3-day 8-race event, Lewis maintained consistency with 3rd and 4th finishes and eventually captured bronze on the final day. Preparing and competing just ahead of the Carnival season, Trinidad and Tobago's first ever Olympic laser class athlete said the following about his return to competitive sailing, and I quote, "When I went to the Lauderdale Yacht Club Olympic Classes Regatta, I felt refreshed after my showing in Miami. It was my first regatta for the season and I was happy to be back out on the water competing. When I moved on to the Lauderdale Regatta, I more or less took that momentum I gained from Miami and applied it to the conditions there. I enjoyed the races, and it showed as I was able to win my first medal for the season in claiming the bronze. I think this is a good start, and I want to push on from here," unquote. Lewis's next event is likely to be in the Sunshine State of Florida towards the end of February. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we return, a careful look at Carnival 2013. Stay with us. The National Carnival Bands Association of Trinidad and Tobago announced its review of Carnival 2013. A press conference was held on Picton Street, Newton, in Port of Spain, and President of NCBA David Lopez told reporters that Carnival 2013 was deemed a huge success. Carnival 2013 is over and is back to usual business in the city's main transport hub. However, President of the NCBA David Lopez says Carnival 2013 was indeed a major success, in spite of a few challenges, which will be reviewed for Carnival 2014, which is just some 381 days away. He says it's definitely a carnival to look forward to. Now that Carnival 2013 is over, National Carnival Bands Association NCBA President David Lopez feels it's time to make improvements for Carnival 2014. Chief among them, a change in venue for the Port of Spain celebrations. Speaking to reporters at the NCBA headquarters, the route needed to be revisited since the Parade of Bands had outgrown the city.
The NCBA started its Parade of the Bands committee early August And we recognize the fact that the Carnival has outgrown the city of Port of Spain. And we recognize the fact that there are so much other issues involved to have a smooth flow. So we met with all the major stakeholders that have a responsibility for the city of Port of Spain, which, as you know, the city of Port of Spain belongs to the mayor at this point in time, is Mr. Louis Singh. We met with Mr. Louis Singh, we met with the police, we met with health, we met with everybody with a view to extending the route.
Lopez suggested that a stakeholder meeting should be convened as quickly as possible to address the issues so they could be dealt with in a timely fashion for next year. He expressed faith in National Carnival Commission NCC Chairman Alison Damas, who he said has the will to do things differently.
Somebody tell me, in all my years, I never see mass going down Frederick Street. You understand? So they always see mass coming up Frederick Street. So then you had the wind factor. You had all sorts of different issues. Then the police had their concern, their issues and the manpower.
Mr. Lopez says despite being blanked by a police officer after asking him to help with directing the flow of bands into the savannah, he will not say that the police service did not do a good job during Carnival celebrations.
We thank the police again and we thank the licensing authority.
He expressed disappointment by the officer's response when he asked for his assistance, but stated he could not blame the entire police service for that one incident. Question about the amount of bands that was disqualified for staying over their 30-minute limit on the Savannah stage, he said a lot of big bands including Brian McFarlane's were disqualified only from that judging point. That story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.